Alrighty, folks, it is time for round 2 of Grand Prix Dawnbloom Grove, the inaugural tournament of the Exalts of Twiltree rotation season. And we're up against Wiffle here on a black-green graveyard mid-range deck, trying to lean on new format all-star Manadork Huskforger Acolytes to try and rush out some pretty spooky mid-range threats and help buy time to weave in some removal to keep the game going here. So this is primarily just sort of your desired black-green mid-range list. So it's got like the things that get stuff done. Here we've got Huskforger Acolyte, we've got Exorcist of Errors. If it will load the card image, hello. There we go. Exorcist of Errors, Reaper of Blossoms. There's 2 copies of Spiky, but there's also a lot of graveyard elements to the deck. There's 2 Catabolist here, 3/1 that when it dies, it's going to make a subroutine token that has the opponent lose 1 and you gain 1 when it runs. You can pay 1 in black and return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped if a card left your graveyard in turn. So, you know, there's some things that will want you to kind of have things leave your graveyard. Notably, Reaper of Blossoms has a card leave your graveyard, so if you can get a land back with Reaper of Blossoms for a green, you can then pay 1 in a black and have Catabolist come back as well. There's also a 1 of Rivaling to do that as well. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, once each turn, you may have each opponent lose 1 life and you gain 1 life. So, you know, in conjunction with Reaper Blossoms, there's some value to have there as well. Of course, Spiky also can have things leave your graveyard because you need to exile 2 permanents from your graveyard to cast it. And there are 50 permanents in this deck, so there's a lot of things for this to eat. But getting the cards into the graveyard's the hard part. The Reaper of Blossoms does make Spiky a little bit better. And then finally, my old flame from February, I believe, Sporeback Jargah. 4 black and a green for a 5/5 fungus horror with death touch. You can exile any number of permanent cards from your graveyard as an additional cost to cast it to make it cost 1 less for each card exiled this way. And then when it dies, you return a card exiled with it of an opponent's choice to its owner's hand. So this could be 5 mana 5/5 death touch, hide away 1 card you really are determined to get back. Or this could be a 2 mana 5/5, eat 4 cards that you don't particularly care what you get back, and then when it dies, your opponent gives you 1 resource of their choice back. Usually probably just a land that you're getting back from that, but that's still fine in most cases. So that's the creature suite. That is backed up by 3 copies of Jack Monster Mentor, in case you weren't sick enough of seeing him last month in my hands. We're going to be up against him this round. For those who missed out on last month, it's 4 mana 3 loyalty planeswalker. Whenever 1 or more permanent cards are put into graveyards, either graveyard, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. This is going to really punish us for our looter engine, so Jack becomes a real big problem for us. I think this is probably the scariest card in this matchup for us, and so we need to really lay on the pressure so our opponent just doesn't have a window to safely get Jack in play. +2 mills 2 cards, +1 has them sacrifice a land or discard a land card to be able to play target creature or land card from a graveyard this turn, from their graveyard. And then -3 has each player sacrifice a creature, and then they return a creature card from their graveyard to their hand. So in an ideal scenario, we kind of put them in a position where Jack has to just +2 to mill 2 cards or -3 and cash Jack in immediately to minimize the amount of life gain they get off of Jack. Or alternatively, we just see Reaper Blossoms milling past all of their Jacks. That'd be great too. Beyond all of those permanents that are going to be like kind of progressing their game plan, they've got 2 copies of Pact Beyond Death. New battle here. 2 mana 6 defense. When it enters, you mill 3 cards, then you return a card milled this way to your hand. So we will get to see what they take back with Pact Beyond Death on every occasion they play it. When it gets down to 4 defense after 2 damage, they gain 2 life whenever they draw a card. That's going to be a bit of a headache for us as well. And then whenever it's defeated, they get to search their library for any card, put it into their hand, and then shuffle. So this is going to be a pretty annoying way of them being able to stall out the game. Kind of a running trend we'll see here is that we just need to not let them ever get the initiative on the board. We kind of just need to push the board every chance we get. Which will be a little trickier because they are also packing 10 removal spells. 2 copies of Dulcairn Charm, 2 mana for an instant that has 3 different modes. The most important one against us is just going to be exile target creature or planeswalker with mana value 2 or less. That's going to pick off everything but Exorcist of Errors, the Phoenixes and the Survivor. So that's just going to be really good at picking off our board. Then they could also just rebuy a creature or land from their graveyard to their hand. This also enables Catabolist, also triggers Rivaling. And then they could also just have us lose 3 and they gain 3. 3 copies of Downlink Overload will be a bit of a liability for them, both because we are kind of tooled to be good against -2 effects, but also the mill is going to be really bad for them and good for us. And then Sovereign's Execution is just 2 mana, destroy a creature or planeswalker, and then they lose 3 life unless they've their life total's already changed in the turn, which they have 4 shocks, but that's about the only way they have to lose life. That being said, they have Rivaling, they have Catabolist, they have Reaper of Blossoms, Pact Beyond Death, and Jack, all as ways to have their life total change. So Sovereign's Execution's Vigor mode will be off, will be on more often than you'd think, and so this could just be 2 mana, pick off a creature or planeswalker without any downside. And then finally, full playset of Revivified Wrath. This is going to be a little awkward against us compared to a lot of their other options, just because this is kind of a catch-all answer to any sort of problematic permanent type. But because all of our problematic permanents are creatures, this doesn't really do anything meaningful compared to something like Dulcairn Charm. So it's 2 mana for a sorcery that destroys target non-land permanent, and then as an additional cost to cast it, you have to pay 3 life or pay 2 mana. So this is just going to be 2 mana, pay 3 life, pick off one of our creatures, which is going to be nice for them, but I think they are almost always going to be boarding this out in games 2 and 3. And then finally, in the land base, they have 24 lands with 6 swamps and 3 forests. Pretty clean 2-to-1 split there. 4 Primal Fishers and 1 Forgotten Junkyard for fetches, 4 Profane Groves, and 4 Temple of Origins for duels, and then 2 Gallowsprout Timber to sort of make up for the forest count and leverage the high number of swamps. This is going to be a utility creature land that can be animated as a 3/3 for 1 black. And whenever it attacks, they exile a card from a graveyard and gain 2 life. So they can kind of pick off our graveyard over time with some targeted graveyard hate. Their sideboard is going to involve probably some combination of Inklate Dancer. Although -2/-2 effects are still pretty awkward, this can kind of let them chump block and then eat up those chump blockers to do some more work. And they can still like keep the -2/-2s without having to run Downlink Overload. Possibly some number of life hackers, just as a way to sort of pad their life total and stem the tide. Programmed Pursuer, 3 mana, 1/4 Death Touch. Whenever one or more artifact creatures you control deal combat damage to an opponent, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Honestly, this is just a 1/4 Death Touch blocker in this matchup, so that could be pretty annoying. They've got 1 Dreadchant Warcaller that I don't think is going to be too relevant in this matchup. 1 Vardo Revelin that I don't think is going to be too relevant in this matchup. I don't imagine they ever board in the 4th Downlink Overload. I could see them bring in some number of Culling Rituals. We're not really the matchup that this card is targeted at, but because we have so many 1s and 2s in our deck, this could still find some relevance. And then comparatively, our sideboard is going to be pretty awkward. So we'll get into what our sideboard looks like after game 1. But until then, I'm actually recording this before the match has actually been set up. So I'll see you all in just a moment as we dive into game 1. Alrighty, we're in here on game 1 here. Let's get that die rolled. Opponent has rolled a 12. We rolled a 2, 10 less. Unfortunate here. Have to imagine opponent will want to be on the play. Oh, come on. That's a 20 land hand 20 land deck hand right there. Get that mull message typed into chat for when opponent has decided how they feel about their hand. Opponent is also mulliganing. Okay. That's... It's Ignited Soul, Huskforger, Exorcist with no black sources, Survivor. I think we bottom Exorcist, go turn 1, Ignited Soul off of Mountain, and then just hope to find something good to do turn 2. Let's keep 6 as well. Exorcist to the bottom. I will say, between how round 1 went and sort of the time in between then and now, I will say I uploaded the video for round 1 pretty late into the week, but I played the match pretty early into the round. So I've had a lot of time to think about how I feel about this deck since then. I'm going to do my damnedest to get as far as I can with this deck, but I'm feeling a little more pessimistic as time has gone on throughout the past week or so. 4th land. Okay, well, at least we can cast Dawnsworn Survivor now, I guess. We are absolutely just leading on Ignited Soul, and if the opponent has removal, the opponent has removal. We can't really get around that. That being said, I don't know if Downlink Overload is great for them. They do get a Swamp. They do not have Overload, though. Overload milling to Fabricated Anomalies would be really bad, but that's about the worst of it. Gallisprout Timber untapped here. That is the benefit of getting a Swamp on 1, is Timber untapped a lot more reliably. I think that's part of why they're on the 5 fetches, is so that way Gallisprout Timber can be untapped more reliably. Because I haven't been super impressed with the discard mode on Forgotten Junkyard, but I do think there is value to being able to just have a 5th fetch to go find that swamp, so your creature land could be untapped more reliably. That being said, I know a lot of people are really down on redeveloped Cityscape. I feel like Cityscape is just better than Junkyard. Reaper Blossoms comes down here, so that's going to make up for the life loss of Ignited Soul, but we do see Downlink Overload and 2 Exorcists go away here. So let's pop out the opponent's graveyard because their graveyard is a resource. You will untap and draw. Is that a mulligan bug right there? We're not on Arena. I may discard the Exorcist. We'll see. I probably just discard the Dawnsworn Survivor, because like if I find a 1-drop, I can go like 1-drop into Huskforger, unless the 1-drop in question is a second copy of Huskforger. Yeah, I think we just pitch the Dawnsworn Survivor. So we will go to combat. We will swing for 1. On damage, we will pitch Survivor to draw a card. That is an anomaly. So we will play Forest, Huskforger, and pass. Opponent could hold up the green here to try and use Reaper of Blossoms, but I think the life gain is just better for them. They're going to pay 3, run out of Spiky here. They eat Exorcist of Errors and Primal Fisher. Alrighty. So Ignited Soul no longer able to get in safely here. End step and milling, Pact Beyond's Death, Sporeback Jargah, and Catabolist. So they gain 1 again. No lands milled. Catabolist is value from the graveyard. One of their 2 copies of Pact Beyond's Death is nice to see go here. Also pretty pleased to see Jargah go to the bin here. But yeah, Spiky is going to be a bit of a long-term problem here. We will untap and draw. We find Profane Grove. So if we had a 1-drop, we could go, Profane Grove, Shocked In, like 1-drop Fabricated Anomaly. With that being said, I think the play here is, Anomaly, pitch the Forest, don't play the land yet to see what else we get access to. And we're going to use Huskforger for this. So we run out the Anomaly. We make Puzzle Box. We pitch the Forest to the Puzzle Box and draw. We find a second Anomaly. I'm going to play Profane Grove tapped here and just pass. Planning to chump block the Spiky with Ignited Soul here. The nice thing about Spiky is it does not have trample. I could consider double blocking Spiky to just kind of get these cards gone, but I think I would not do that if they don't play anything main 1. I would consider it if they do like tap out here, though. Just because if they tap out, I know they're not replaying Spiky this turn. But with 4 permanents in their graveyard, Spiky being recast is likely. And I will say, I was down on Spiky in this particular build that I'm on, but Spiky is looking pretty good with Reaper of Blossoms here. I'm just going to chump block here. I don't particularly care for Ignited Soul at this juncture. I would much rather just keep them off of Spiky. I can go Urban Jungle, Exorcist, Fabricated Anomaly, and rebuy the Dawnsworn Survivor. Let's see what they have here. Notably still missing the second black source for Gallowsprout Timber, though that does not impact too much else in their deck. They don't really have double black sources outside of, or like double black costs outside of that. So they do have the second Pact Beyond Death. Okay. So milling Temple, Reaper, and Huskforger Acolyte. I imagine it's just getting Temple here so you can make the land drop, right? It's either you get Temple and that's your land drop, or you get Huskforger Acolyte and you play land from hand and you go down to 2 cards, at which point I think Exorcist looks a lot better. If they have an untapped land, maybe it's Reaper, but I'm not too sold on that. They are going to take the Reaper. Okay. They have Forgotten Junkyard, so Junkyard is not going to let them play the Reaper from hand. But they do have green up for... Oh, no, they do have a Huskforger in hand as well, so they are choosing to gain life off of the Reaper rather than getting any value off of this. They mill second Jargah, first Jack, first Revivified Wrath. Interesting. They go up to 22. Yeah, we're going to have to play this a lot grindier. We have lost the opportunity to just push early damage, so we will draw a Gilded Noon Entertainer. That gives us some flexibility here, to the point where I wonder if we even bother with the Puzzle Box. We could Puzzle Box away the Dawnsworn Survivor. I kind of like going for Shock and Urban Jungle, Exorcist, Gilded Noon Entertainer. Puzzle Box away the Dawnsworn Survivor, and then we just get to keep Huskforger up. Let's see here. I think we're just like always leading on Gilded Noon Entertainer, or sorry, not Gilded Noon, Exorcist here. So Exorcist, taking the Reaper. We know the Reaper's there. It's just always going to take Reaper. I'm just going to move their graveyard. I'm just going to close their graveyard for a second in case they put it on the battlefield over in this area. Yeah, so the board's getting pretty gummed up here. I will say, and I'll probably talk a lot more about this in the final thoughts. Dolcairn Charm is what they reveal. Okay. Yeah, I would much rather they have a Reaper of Blossoms than a Dolcairn Charm. Okay, they didn't need to give us that information. I was going to just take the Reaper, but I guess they really want us to not take the Reaper. Yeah, I'll take a Dolcairn Charm every day. I would like you to not rebuy a Sporeback Jargah or have removal for my Exorcist of Errors. Yeah, we will shock in. And we're just going to run out the Gilded Noon Entertainer. And we'll pass. And I'm just going to hold the Survivor in hand here. So only 1 card in hand, and we know what card it is. Pact Beyond to Death currently has no text. If they swing Spiky at Pact Beyond Death, then they do not get the card off of Spiky, which is pretty good for us. They are going to swing Spiky. They're going to swing it at us. I think this is just block with Gilded Noon Entertainer. So, okay. Actually, is it block with Gilded Noon Entertainer? Um, I don't like chump blocking here. It's just a really rough position to be in, and they've got so much value in the graveyard to get back. Yeah, I think it's just got to be kill this with Gilded Noon Entertainer while we buy time to stall out the board. All right, we trade. These are gone in their exile for good. They pay 3 mana, recast Spiky. And the other thing that's confusing about this is that because they're going for recast Spiky here, they didn't leave up the mana to replay Reaper, to play out Reaper as well, because they went black, green, green. So by doing this, they leave up black and colorless. They don't have Reaper available to them. They play Profane Grove tapped. Yeah, that's very curious. I feel like you just always tap out in such a way that you get to put that card into play. I'm almost tempted to just not puzzle box here. I think like the best pattern might just be run out Survivor here as my spiky blocker. We untap. We draw Reaper of Blossoms of our own. So we could loot away the Dawnsworn Survivor now, and then we can go second Anomaly, Reaper, trigger Survivor, buyback Survivor. I kind of like doing that after we've blocked with Survivor, though. So let's... One of the things we could also do is we could swing with Anomaly, eat like Ignited Soul Forest, see if they want to just take the trade, and if not, then we go for Survivor. I like that. No, I don't love that because I want to just kind of hold things up to block for Pact Beyond Death. So yeah, first time hard casting Dawnsworn Survivor. Just put it in play. When in doubt, it is castable. So they untap. They do now have enough mana, especially with an untapped land, to just upgrade Huskforger Acolyte. They're swinging with Spiky here. I mean, this once again, like just we can trade the Dawnsworn Survivor. They lose their second pact. They lose their Jack. Like at the moment, we're at a pretty comfortable parity on board. Gallowsprout Timber does not have a good opportunity to eat the Dawnsworn Survivor. 1, 2, 3, recast Spiky. I assume just eating Jargah, right? No, eating the other Exorcist. Oh. Okay, yeah, eating Exorcist Swamp. Sorry, I missed them putting it into play. Let's get their graveyard back out to just being here. Second Profane Grove, untapped, end step mill. What do they think we're playing around? We know they have Reaper of Blossoms in hand. Why are they not... Yeah, they're not getting back Catabolist either. That's interesting. So I guess they're holding up Gallowsprout Timber blocker, but we're not in a position to ever want to be attacking. We draw another Exorcist. We just don't need to play this right now. We play Reaper. Actually, I think we do play the Exorcist here, preserve the Fabricated Anomaly in hand, and we can buy back a land with the Reaper at end of turn. So we buy back the Dawnsworn Survivor. And then we just take the Reaper, because we know the Reaper's in hand. Yeah, we'll take that. All right. And then we just go to end step, Reaper trigger, Mountain, Husk Forager for an encounter. We will pay a green to get back the Mountain and not gain one. And then we have options, including, looting away the Mountain to Puzzle Box, looting away Survivor to Puzzle Box. I think the play here is going to be we play Mountain Pass. They send in with both. So we know for a fact Husk Forger is getting leveled up here to be a 5/5. That is what they are holding the mana for. I mean, I think we just trade Exorcist Reaper in front of Spiky. Let them invest all of their mana into Husk Forger if they want to deal more than one. And if they spend 6 mana to level up Husk Forger, we can do the same to trade Husk Forgers next turn. Especially if they kill Reaper here. But this might put them in a position of thinking that they don't... No effects, assign damage to Exorcist. Okay, they're going to get back the Reaper here. We take one. They get the Reaper, and we kill Spiky. So they're going to go Reaper, Spiky. They lose the second Exorcist. They lose the land. So no more Exorcists. Oh, no, they do still have one Exorcist in Graveyard, because they milled a third one. But I will say, one of the things that I'm noticing is because of where we are on the board right now, second Reaper, they mill 6 cards plus drawing. If we can stabilize for a couple more turns... Okay, and they also don't replace Spiky here. Okay, they're going to rebuy a land. Catabalist has to be coming back here. Because they don't have the mana for Gallowsprout Timber anyways. That's second copy of Jack. That's the third copy of Revivified Wrath as well. That's also their second downlink overload. They are going to Catabalist here. But yeah, so one of the things that I'm thinking about is just like, they're running low on cards in library. Yeah. Yeah, they are running low on cards in library. I might just like upgrade Husk Forger Acolyte next turn. I'm not even going to use Puzzle Box. We untap, we draw for an encounter here. That's going to be good to get back Dawnsworn Survivor on a subsequent turn. Let's play Mountain. We could go Anomaly for an encounter here rather than level up Husk Forger. What's the value in doing so? It gets us more things on board rather than the 5/5. And if we hit something with 3 toughness off a foreign encounter, we have something that just blocks Catabalist comfortably. Yeah, I think we lead on foreign encounter and let that inform our choices. And we use Husk Forger Acolyte to do so. So foreign encounter... view top 6. We get Gilded Entertainer and Reaper of Blossoms. I mean, I'm down for Reaper, get a 3/4 into play. We gain 2 at end step. Because right now they need to kill us before their Reapers kill them. Yeah. Gilded Noon Entertainer just not as meaningful right now. We ship these to the bottom. Get this in play with a +1/+1 counter on it. Let's loot away the Dawnsworn Survivor to draw a card. Swamp here. We have not played a land yet this turn. No, we did. We played the mountain. Okay. Let's run out Second Anomaly, buy back Survivor. We will mill 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Second Survivor in the graveyard here. We now have an Abominable Avalanche for the following turn. So if we can spend 5 mana on spells next turn, Abominable Avalanche is going to be able to make a 3/3. And so this is kind of what I mean. Like, these mill 6, they draw 1, so they're going through 7 cards a turn here. Over the next 3 turns, they will run out every card in their deck. And they have to kill us through Double Reaper and all of these 2/3s in all of that time. Swinging Catabolist, what could punish us? We see 2 Downlink Overloads in the graveyard. The third one could at least let them trade. I think that's really the only thing that matters here. Yeah. This is what this is here for right now, so. All right, yeah, they are just getting the tick token. Which is fair, you know, if this dies, they can, you know, get a land back with Reaper and get this back. But that's just not a meaningful clock here. Yeah, so we're seeing one of the things that's coming about from Reaper of Blossoms, which is that anytime the game gets slow enough, Reaper becomes a liability pretty quickly. We're seeing Spiky come back here. They're eating Exorcist of Errors and Swamp, and they have milled the 4th Exorcist, so our hand is safe here, unless Spiky connects to get them back an Exorcist. They're paying 2 for Catabolist. They are shocking in Profane Grove. End step, get back. Miss on a land. That's the last copy of Jack, so that's the biggest problem dodged there. Second copy is going to find 3 lands. I imagine they get this Gallow Sprout Timber off of Reaper of Blossoms, unless they're holding up. Okay, they want to gain the 3. They want to gain the 2 life here. You know what that tells me? They're holding up Dolcairn Charm. Interesting, interesting. So they're likely holding up Dolcairn Charm, but we've seen 1 copy, and the other one is not in their graveyard. And we've eaten the other copy of Dolcairn Charm. It is the only instant that requires a black and a green, so it'd be the only reason to not prioritize the value there. We could puzzle box away this Swamp. We could puzzle box away the Dawnsworn Survivor. I think if we're using puzzle box, we're pitching the Swamp here, which I kind of do like. Let's get rid of the Swamp and draw here. Find a new land. Kind of glad I did that. We'll untap and draw for an encounter. So now choice here is we can puzzle box away Survivor and then find out what we get from there. If we can go Survivor, if we can go encounter plus 2 drop or better, that gets us to get both survivors back, plus get a token off of Abominable Avalanche, and that's just so much card advantage. We do also want to find some check to Spiky here. I will just block with this 3/4 Reaper here. And I think I'm fine letting the Catabolist through at this point. It itself is not a meaningful enough clock. So let's kick off with Cycle Dawnsworn Survivor. We find Gilded Noon Entertainer. That is going to cut it on its own. So from there, I think we go 1, 2, 3, 4 in encounter. Let's view top 6. We find Gilded Noon Entertainer, Fabricated Anomaly number 3, Dawnsworn Survivor number 3, Ignited Soul. We could take Entertainer. Because, like, this 3/2 Entertainer is going to just block this Spiky here, and then 4/3 Entertainer blocks a lot of things pretty well. We could just take the Anomaly, though. Like, 3/4 is really good, and then that's a third puzzle box. Yeah, we're taking the third puzzle box. Move these to the bottom. We put Anomaly up to a 3/4. So now we have a blocker in case Reaper gets eaten by these Profane Groves casting a Dolcairn Charm. It's possible they Dolcairn Charm taking off the Exorcist just to buy back a second Dolcairn Charm. Though I don't think that's amazing for them. One other thing we could do here is we could shock in Urban Jungle. Nah, I was like, we could shock in Urban Jungle and then try and buy back lands with both Reapers, but I think that's just actually terrible. So we will Gilded Noon Entertainer, get back Dawnsworn Survivor, get back Dawnsworn Survivor. We're going to kind of move our graveyard down a little bit. Oh, and we should have a third puzzle box, courtesy of this. Gilded Noon Entertainer into play. I think I'm down to just play this Urban Jungle at this point. And then we will just go to end step. Avalanche, make a 3/3. Like, we have... we also have these. 1, 2, 3. There's Spirit Realm Phoenix. We gain 1. 1, 2, 3. We gain 1, put Primal Fissure in the bin. So, very full graveyard. Spirit Realm Phoenix is here to finally start getting potentially some damage in through the air, but it really doesn't matter at this point. Our Reaper Blossoms are trade fodder, I think, at this point. They have done their job. It is the Dolcairn Charm! Oh, they're rebuying Sporeback Jargah. Okay. Interesting. So we lose 1, they gain 1 from the Tick token, and then Catabolist is still kicking around. Current plan is if Spiky swings, we block with Gilded Noon Entertainer. If Catabolist swings, we block with Reaper of Blossoms that does not have a counter on it. If Gallowsprout Timber swings, we block that with the 3/4 Reaper. If Huskforger swings, I will block with both Reapers to kind of price them into killing 1 with the Huskforger. And then I can adjust to their other attackers as need be. But with 1 Dolcairn Charm in the graveyard and the other sitting under Exorcist here, you know, their exile-based removal is largely dealt with. We do still have 2 removal spells to be aware of. There is still 1 Sovereign's Execution, there is still 1 Downlink Overload, and there is still 1 Revivified Wrath. But we kind of just gotta, at this point, outlast what they have. Like, we don't have to worry about attacking, ever. Okay, they are sending in some things. So Swinging Reaper, Spiky Catabolist. Doesn't look all at me. Okay. So here is my thinking. These Reapers I want to have stick around. We're going to block Reaper with a 2/3, Reaper with a 2/3, both the anomalies. We're going to block here, and we're going to block here. All right. So, yep, they got the idea. We lose Gilded Noon Entertainer. Surprised we didn't get a Gallusprout Timber animation there. Surprised we didn't get a Husk Forger Acolyte suit up here. They're going to eat 2 Jacks with Sporeback Jargah. I think that's just going to be too slow. So here's the thing. Jargah is not when it hits us, but rather when it dies. So the plan from here is we just never put anything in front of Jargah that kills the... Oh, wait, they're putting 2 Jargahs under here? Oh, no, we're fine killing the Jargah now. We just give them another Jargah. Because we get the choice on what they get back. I will never give them a Jack. And so that's all 3 copies of Jack dealt with. So their burst damage is gone. They play Spiky back out of the graveyard. They are eating Reaper and Temple of Origins. This matchup is ridiculous. And they're paying 2 and getting back a Catabolist here. Holding up Husk Forger Acolyte as a blocker. And then milling 3. There's the last copy of Revivified Wrath. There's the 3rd Jargah. Yeah, 3rd Jargah, 1 copy of the 1 copy of Writhling gone. That is graveyard hate, but the things we care about are in our hand. So yeah. I think I'm cool to just chill. No puzzle boxes. Why puzzle box away the survivors when they are 4/3s? We untap. We draw Sanguine Palace. I will puzzle box away the Sanguine Palace. Calamity Cat, I will loot away as well. Reaper of Blossoms, I'll loot away. Primal Fisher. All right. I think that's just it. Like, I think that's all we do. And then we pass and just let them go to 7 cards in deck. Hold up Husk Forger animation. Yeah. Mill 1, 2, 3. We will gain 1 life. Put these all in the bin. That is our 3rd Ignited Soul. Mill 1, 2, 3. I will pay a green to get back the Profane Grove. In part because I want to psych them out on me putting a card in my hand. Because I've got the Husk Forger here. So, because I can block with Husk Forger, use it and my 5 lands to animate the Husk Forger as a 5/5. Or to suit up the Husk Forger as a 5/5. So, their tick progresses. We go to 20. They go to 27. They draw. Next turn is their last turn. So, we need to survive 2 more attacks. And we need to do so in such a way that these Reaper of Blossoms do not die. At least for this next attack. They are going to combat. Two removal spells that we have not seen. We see these. It is going to be everything, I guess, except for Huskforger. All at me, they say. So, important moment to do some math. We have a 1/1 blocker here. If, for some reason, we want to turn sideways here despite all of our efforts, they could go up to 29, have 2 blockers available to them between Gallows-Sprout Timber and Huskforger Acolyte. At 29 life, we have 3 anomalies, so we could potentially give any one of our given creatures +3/+3. That is 6. So if, and this is beyond hypothetical because we have 28 cards in our graveyard, that's not enough to give everything +3/+3, but we would have 6 + 6 is 12, +5 is 17, +6 is 23, 28, 33. Yeah, we would have enough damage on board if we just like swung out with everything in the face of all of these. But why? They're at 7 cards in deck. We don't need to. So, we're going to block here, block here. I think I am cool to keep doing the 3/4 in front of Catabolist. I'm going to put Huskforger in front of Spiky, and I'm going to put the 2/3 Reaper in front of Jargah. Those blocks are what I'm doing. You have first priority. Opponent says no effects. Attempt to activate Huskforger's second ability. So that gives us a 5/5 to kill Spiky here. We kill Catabolist without losing anything. Reaper chump blocks Jargah, and then their Reapers stick around. They say that happens. Trample. We lose Reaper. And our life total doesn't change. They pay 3, second main, recast Spiky. Yup, saw that one coming. Eating 2 Huskforgers. I think them never leveling up this Huskforger is a real cost to where they're at. And they get back to Catabolists. I don't see how that gets us dead. We see their final downlink overload milled there, and we see the Sovereign's Execution, so every removal spell is gone. We can actually deduce the exact resources they will have at their disposal here. So we have seen all 4 Jargahs. We have seen the 1 Writhling. We have seen all 4 Acolytes. We have seen all 4 Exorcist of Errors. We know they're on 2 Catabolist and both are in play. We have seen 1, 2 Reapers plus 3rd in exile, none in graveyard. So they have one Reaper of Blossoms, which I see why they would not have run that out if it's in their hand. They have the second Spiky in graveyard, all of their removal spells, their planeswalkers, everything, their battles all addressed. I think it's just lands. Because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So yeah, it's Reaper Blossoms and 2 lands. That's not going to get them across the finish line here. We untap. We draw. It's a Sanguine Palace. I think I'm going to Puzzle Box, loot away Primal Fisher to draw. Puzzle Box, loot away Profane Grove to draw. And then we will puzzle box away a Dawnsworn Survivor to draw. Let's shock in Sanguine Palace. Red. Well, hold on. Let's tap better. Let's tap red, red, and 1 for Spirit Realm Phoenix. 4 mana for Dawnsworn Survivor. Trigger 2 more Dawnsworn Survivors to come back from our graveyard. And yeah. It maybe would have been better over the Survivor to run out like Calamity Cat Exorcist of Errors, but like our board is gummed up. We know they don't have a board wipe here. We can block everything they have and be perfectly fine. So we move to end step, Reaper Mills 3, land our second Avalanche. We gain 1, and they just can't bounce back here. They draw their last card. We know it's land. Did they did bin the Gallows Sprout Timber earlier, so there's no second Gallows Sprout Timber. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. They're tapping 3. They're going to animate Gallows Sprout Timber. We are at 18 here. All let me. They did not tap their Catabalists, but I imagine they intended to attack with Catabalist here. Yeah, they're going to eat the Avalanche and gain 2. Whew. And we are seeing the liability of Reaper Blossoms in full force here. Alrighty. So, and they don't have the mana to use Huskforger Acolyte here. I'm just clarifying they're good to go to blocks because they have not tapped the Catabalists. Alrighty. 5-5 in front of 4-3, 3-4 in front of 3-3. We'll just eat the Reapers finally. We will eat the Husk Forger. We will eat. We will just chump the Sporeback Jargah. they use it, but yeah, it's sorcery speed. Alrighty, that was crazy. Okay. Moving into game 2 here. Anik Oathbound does have some viability. As much as I have ragged on that minus 1 on the Davika side. You know, there is use to the -1 in this matchup. 1-3 also like decent at blocking what they've got. Walls, Exorcist of Error, kill trades with Catabalist. Walls, Husk Forger in early turns. Walls, Reaper. Walls, Writhling. So Spiky and Jargah are the only things that can get through. Though I guess there's also, of course, Gallows Sprout Timbers that could both eat it from the graveyard and whatnot. So maybe we don't go up the Annex. We definitely want terminal impacts. We definitely want the additional avalanches. Removal is just great here. I don't know how I feel about Encounter. Encounter actually, So one of the things that I'm struggling with is Encounter actually does do something meaningful here in giving us a like 3/4, which just blocks so well in this matchup. But the problem is one of the things we really got to leverage was the fact that we had 2/3s instead of 3/4s, so the Reapers could never die in combat. So they could never intentionally get rid of their Reapers or force damage through with the Reapers. Not that the damage they would have been getting in with the Reapers would have changed our position on board or anything, but we could always just safely block the Reapers without killing them, so that way the liability was still there. I think I like having Terminal Impact at the very least, because they are something that checks any one of their cards in play. It checks a turn 1 Husk Forger, and it deals with the things that they have going on. I will also say, after that full game, I finally realized there was a thing I was saying earlier that clicked out of my brain over the course of that game, which was, I believe I was saying something about, I've seen a lot of people making takes about how Kieran of Boons is situationally good because it's only really good in matchups where blockers matter. And the take that I have is, I think that's a crazy stance to make when the format is so generally pushed towards the board mattering at all, because I think the rationale I land on Kieran of Boons, and I said last round we'd be talking about this card a lot. The rationality I land on for Kieran of Boons being better than just, oh, it's only good if blockers matter, is I don't think you would ever in a million years say this about Unspeaking Titan. I think Unspeaking Titan is a stellar card. It is part of why the Golems decks are as great as they are. I think it is just far and away the best of the 3 creatures in the Golems deck, for the Titans cycle anyways. And Unspeaking Titan plays a very similar role to Kieran of Boons, of allowing you to turn sideways with the knowledge that your opponent's blockers do not matter, because the most relevant blockers on the opponent's board just get removed from the equation. But where Unspeaking Titan singularly picks off one big blocker, Kieran of Boons picks off a bunch of smaller blockers, which is relevant when you have evasion like Menace on your Ignited Souls. So I really do wish I was on Kieran. It would just be doing so much work here. I'm tempted to just trim 3 Exorcists, but Exorcist was pretty relevant in that match. Just getting to take away a Dulcairn Charm. I can go down an Exorcist. I can go down 2 Survivors because they are a whiff on Terminal Impact. A whiff on Foreign Encounter, like Terminal Impact, so like they don't change the numbers too much if we just trade one Encounter whiff for another. We could go up the Avalanches as well. I think I do still like that. So we're kind of trading Avalanches for Survivors. And then the Impacts, we could go down like 1 Exorcist, and then go down... Maybe we go down a Calamity Cat? 2-1's a little awkward in this matchup. We'll go down 1 Calamity Cat, and maybe it's just the 2nd Exorcist. We'll go down a Gilded Noon Entertainer. The 2/3 body is so much more relevant than the 3/4 in a lot of cases, so let's go down an Entertainer. And we'll run it like that. Assume the opponent wants to be on the play again. Very different hand here. Turn 1 Shockland, Husk Forger. Turn 2 Fabricated Anomaly. Only reason we wouldn't take that play pattern is if they have turn 1 Husk Forger. They have mulliganed. We are going to keep 7. So Anomaly is going to have to be rummaging more relevant cards in this matchup, because we have 4 cards we want to be discarding rather than 6, because we went down to Dawnsworn Survivors. So that is something we'll have to be mindful of with Anomaly in mind, or with Anomaly's Puzzle Box token, kind of affecting how good we are with fewer survivors. So the opponent keeps 6. They put a card away. And then let's see how they start. Primal Fissure Pass tells me we are good to run out Husk Forger instead of hold up Terminal Impact. We will draw Calamity Cat. We could Calamity Cat here and then go turn to like Acolyte Impact. I don't think that's very good. I think we just shock in Urban Jungle because it's the most relevant of our 3 shocks to have in here. We are going to shock that in for an Acolyte. Then pass. And if they boarded in the 4th downlink overload for some reason, then it could matter, but I don't imagine they boarded it in. I feel like they would have gone down. They do play Forest off of Primal Fissure rather than Swamp, so tells me that they have something that cares about the green coming down here. Temple of Origins, green-black. Dolcairn Charm, eat the Husk Forger. All right. Dolcairn exiles Husk Forger Acolyte. That is mana advantage on our part. And their first 2 turns were just spent getting rid of a Husk Forger, so that's pretty good for us. I think we will play Sanguine Palace tapped and then just run out Calamity Cat. Play Primal Fissure next turn, probably get a Forest, and we will pass. We could also swing a 4/5 Anomaly next turn, which is pretty nice. Also relevant, they do not have a second permanent in their graveyard, so they can't cast Spiky here. Oh, that would get them Spiky. Primal Fissure. Let's see what comes down here. Is it Spiky? It's Spiky! I think we just Terminal Impact Spiky here. I think we Terminal Impact Spiky and swing in for 2. Untap, draw. We find an Exorcist of Errors here. Yep. Fissure, crack it. Go find a Forest. Clear Spiky here, so you have to work to get it back. And the next turn we've got Anomaly, play Profane Grove tapped. And we can cat up the Anomaly to get it to be a 3/4. They pay 3. Programmed Pursuer did come in. Okay, that is going to be a bit of a problem here. We untap and draw an Ignited Soul. So we could shock in Profane Grove, go for Anomaly, Ignited Soul, pitch Anomaly to Calamity Cat, put a counter on Ignited Soul, and then swing Ignited Soul as a 3/3. But if we want value off of its attack, of its combat damage trigger, we've got to shred our entire hand to find 1 new card. Hey. We could also just go Exorcist plus Ignited Soul here. Let's lead on Exorcist. Show me your secrets. Sovereign's Execution is what they reveal. I'll take Execution. So 1 unknown in their hand. Let's go Ignited Soul, not using Calamity Cat, just play Profane Grove tapped and pass. And I think the plan here is going to be double block Exorcist and Calamity Cat in front of Programmed Pursuer here. If they have the removal spell, they do 2-for-1 us, but the upside is that we deny them the draw off of Programmed Pursuer, and if they don't have the removal, we trade Exorcist for Pursuer here. And especially if they are likely to go down the downlink overloads, which I think they still are. Yeah, perfect. So Programmed Pursuer down, they get back the Sovereign's Execution, but their life total has not changed, so Execution is a liability this turn. That does put a second permanent in their graveyard. Dreadchant Warcaller is the play here. Okay. Well, we will draw, find a forest. Let's Fabricated Anomaly, make a puzzle box token. I'm not going to puzzle box yet. I think I'm going to let Ignited Soul loot away Fabricated Anomaly and then figure out what I'm doing from there. Because one of the things that I'm thinking about is if I find Terminal Impact off of one of these two draws, I would much rather Terminal Impact the Dreadchant Warcaller because Ward 1 gets stopped by Impact being uncounterable. So that can be pretty nice. I'm also just like, I don't know if putting a counter on Anomaly is super important right now, given that we know they have a removal spell in hand. So I think I like just swinging Ignited Soul. We will eat the Terminal Impact, put a counter on the Ignited Soul. Oh, sorry. We were attacking with this. It gets through. We will pitch... I think we've just pitched the second Anomaly here. Yeah, let's pitch the Anomaly and draw, find a foreign encounter. I think we're just going to hold on to that. Yeah, let's just play the forest and pass. So the downside here is that Sovereign's Execution is likely coming down on the Anomaly, because that gives them the Vigor condition for Dreadchant Warcaller. The upside to that is that I almost never... okay, they're casting Spiky from hand, getting back the Spiky and Program Pursuer from their graveyard. And then I imagine they fire off Sovereign's Execution, lose 3, kill Fabricated Anomaly. So we do lose the Anomaly here. But they are hand empty, not swinging with Warcaller. They make a 2/2 zombie. We untap, we draw, we find a Calamity Cat. Let's foreign encounter here. View the top 6. Reaper, Ignited Soul, Dawnsworn Survivor, and 3 lands. I mean, it's just Reaper, right? I think it's Reaper. We use Calamity Cats to put a counter on Ignited Soul. We trade Soul with Spiky, have the 3/4 Reaper just up to block. Yeah, it's going to be Reaper here. We ship Rest to bottom. This gets a counter. We could also just tap, use Calamity Cat to put a counter on Reaper here, so it's a 4/5 block Spiky comfortably. I wonder if we puzzle box away the Calamity Cat, if that's the plan. No, I think the plan is to hold Puzzle Box and use it to loot away the land off of Reaper. I think I'm going to diversify threats here and put counters on the Ignited Soul. We'll pitch the Calamity Cat. End step, Reaper will mill us 3. We whiff on lands. That is our final Calamity Cat, Huskforger Acolyte, and second Reaper going to the bin. So we whiff on the puzzle box. That was a gamble that we just do not get the reward for. But I don't think it's the worst case scenario. Because again, like, we can trade Ignited Soul for Spiky pretty comfortably, and then we're just in a top deck war. Dredgehant Warcaller needs enablers, of which it has none right now. Spiky for Ignited Soul is just a really worthwhile trade. 4 mana Culling Ritual. That's, I think, just the game. They hit us for 7, get back a card off of Spiky. Yikes. Yeah, I did say in the matchup overview that Culling Ritual was possible to come in here. Yeah. That's the punish. So they lose a single zombie token. They get a bunch of floating mana. It doesn't matter. They hit us for 7. We're going to make them play it out at least, because there are still things we could draw, but, like, Spiky gets back Program Pursuer here, so that's a play for next turn. Avalanche is not bad. Let's just kill Spiky here. Get 1 Spiky stuck in exile. And this at least tells them that we didn't board out Avalanche here. Does not tell them that we kept that we added more, though. So first sideboard card to show up here is the Culling Ritual. We see the Program Pursuer we knew about. We take 3. We're on a 2-turn clock here because Program Pursuer puts another 2/2 in play on their next turn. We untap, we draw. Ignited Soul is just not going to cut it. I mean, we will run it out and pass. I think we just got to take 4 here. So they draw off of Programmed Pursuer, and then, yeah, they just tear away here. Yeah, that Culling Ritual was rough. Very rough beats. So things to think about for sideboarding is how we get around Culling Ritual. Sporeback Jargah, just hard cast. End step, they make a... Did they... Yeah, you get a 2/2. Rough. All right. Is it possible that they just boarded out Reapers in this matchup? We draw Sanguine Palace. We will scoop it up. All right. That was rough. Thinking about how we get around their sideboard tech here, we could go up the Ozon's Blessings and play Purifiers. Purifier gets the secondary plan of being a way for us to board in interaction for the Program Pursuers. That's really the only thing that it interacts with, so for the most part, it would be just a 2/2 for 2. Can pick off the Catabolist tokens as well. That can be pretty nice. So I think we do like the Purifiers here. I'm just lower on Exorcists in general. Maybe we play the Ozon's Blessings. Maybe we just don't want the Avalanches. That felt pretty rough there. Yeah, I'm just down on all of the Exorcists here. It's possible we even, like, board out the Swamp for the 4th Ozon's Blessing. I don't love going down to 19, but, like... we have no black spells in the main now. Yeah, go down the Swamp for the 4th Blessing. I'm not super excited here, but we'll see how this goes. That's a 1-lander. Even with, like, Double Cat, Huskforger, Terminal Impact, we can't really afford to keep a 1-lander here. We can keep a 2-lander, especially when it's 2 lands, Acolyte, Anomaly, Anomaly for an encounter. We put Anomaly to the bottom. Ship this to the bottom. keep 6. We're keeping the Reaper because as much as, having the double double anomaly is really good, the reality of double anomaly is that if the Husk Forger gets killed on turn 1, we just lose. And we can't really afford to let that happen. I think it's going to be an encounter over anomaly on turn 2, by the way. We'll play urban jungle, sorry. Foreign encounter, urban jungle started to blend in my head. So, Acolyte on 1. I guess this is an overload check. Did they keep overload in their deck? If overload's in their deck, we get got here. Otherwise, they did not have it. We untap and draw. So we can risk here. There is a gamble. We actually have a number of choices. We can go Calamity Cat plus Reaper here. We can go Foreign Encounter, or we can go Fabricated Anomaly. Foreign Encounter has the highest potential upside, but if we whiff on Encounter, spending our turn 2 doing nothing is really rough. I'd rather know for a fact that Encounter can work, and when we board in things like Ozon's Blessing and take out things like Exorcist of Errors, the number of hits on Encounter goes down, so the likelihood of this being amazing goes down, which means as nice as Encounter is going to be in the cases where it's good, I would rather just take the safest line here, which is going to be Calamity Cat, Shock in Profane Grove, Reaper of Blossoms, and then pass. And we mill Ozon's Blessing, Gilded, and Abominable Avalanche, gain 1. So they know we have Gilded Noon Entertainer in the deck. Or sorry, they know we have Ozon's Blessing in now. This play is also a little more awkward if they make it to Culling Ritual, but this does put more stats on the board. So they are going to play land, Reaper of Blossoms here. Mill Programmed Pursuer, Gallows-Sprout Timber, and Primal Fisher, and they gain 1. We untap, draw Profane Grove. I think I'm actually in on Calamity Cat looting away Foreign Encounter here. So what we're going to do, we're going to tap 1, 2, 3 for Fabricated Anomaly. We make the Puzzle Box token. We're going to loot away the Foreign Encounter with the Puzzle Box. We find Sanguine Palace. We're going to tap Calamity Cat, put a counter on the Fabricated Anomaly, pitch Sanguine Palace, counter on Anomaly. We're going to go to combat. We will swing in with both of these, eat Sanguine Palace, Ozon's Blessing for Reaper of Blossoms. No eats on the Anomaly. We want to keep Avalanche in the graveyard. So swing for 6. These are both coming at you. Okay, they take 6. Main 2, we will shock in Profane Grove. End step, mill 1, 2, 3. We will pay to get back the mountain here. Second Reaper, second Foreign Encounter to the bin. We are pretty all in here, but we do have some momentum going. I think we really do want to get some stats piled onto Anomaly while we can. Revivified Wrath is going to pick off the Anomaly, though. Yeah, and that tees them up for a pretty good turn next turn. So they are going to Reaper, lose 2 more Reapers, and a Dulcairn Charm. So they gain 1, do not get to use this last mana. We will untap, draw. Spirit Realm Phoenix is interesting. We would have to play the mountain for Spirit Realm Phoenix to do anything, unfortunately. But, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. Alternatively, I think something I like here is we could tap Acolyte for a colorless, use Calamity Cat, untap it, put a counter on it. Because we could go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and make this a 6/6 this turn. But the concern with that is this gets picked off by removal spell, and then we just lose. I think I'm going to loot away the Spirit Realm Phoenix. We will draw past it. Foreign Encounter solves a lot of problems here. Let's go 1, 2, 3 for the Foreign Encounter. If you top 6 cards of our library. Second Spirit Realm Phoenix. Perfect. We get Spirit Realm Phoenix. Gets a counter. That's going to be 1 to the opponent. 2 terminal impacts, Husk Forger, and another 1-drop go to the bottom. And then, yeah, I think the plan here is now Calamity Cat pitch the land in hand. No, actually, we hold land in hand, so that way we can go use this to cast the Phoenix next turn. And then we can discard the card we draw with Calamity Cat for value. Actually, hold on. In that case, I think we go Mountain as land for turn because we still haven't played our land yet this turn. We use Mountain to pay for Spirit Realm Phoenix, Profane Grove to pay for Reaper. So let's go to combat. Swing 6. Will they block? They're just going to take it. Main 2, we play Mountain. End step, we have this trigger and this trigger. Resolve Reaper first. 1, 2, 3. We're going to pay 1, get back the land, 2 cards to graveyard. And then Spirit Realm Phoenix, we're going to pay 1 to buy back. And that's lethal in the air next turn. Oh, Spirit Realm Phoenix is still so good. I almost wonder if the ideal build of this deck is more copies of Spirit Realm Phoenix and fewer copies of Dawnsworn Survivors, because when Phoenix is good, Phoenix feels so good. Like, I liked Survivor just being a 4/3 in this matchup, especially in that game 1 where the blocking body was just so relevant, especially when it was a recursive blocking body that just kept trading with Spiky. But, you know, something about a 3/3 flyer with haste and burn damage is just so powerful. And the kicker here is they could still kind of take us out a little bit with the Jack Monster Mentor is pretty real here, but I don't think that does it. They gain 1 off of Jack, 2 off of Reaper. They go to 9. Forgotten Junkyard and Temple of Origins milled off of Jack, so we take 1, they gain 1. They can't afford to swing with Reaper. They mill Culling Ritual, Swamp, Spiky. We take 1, they gain 2. We've got Spirit Realm Phoenix. I think the play here is going to be Spirit Realm Phoenix, swing both Phoenixes at Jack. We untap, we draw second Calamity Cat. We run out Spirit Realm Phoenix, number 2. We go to combat. We swing with these, both Phoenixes in the air at Jack, Reaper at them. So they're going to gain 1, take 3. They go to 7. We go to 12. They could go to 10 if they block with the Reaper, but then they lose their Reaper. And we're seeing the value of Jack here in this matchup now. Because it's gaining them 6 more life here between the 5 damage we have to send at it and the 1 that it gains from dying. But yeah, this is hopefully going well. They are going to block with Reaper. Yeah, so this does kill it. And then... Oh, sorry. No, we go down 1. Main 2. Let's Puzzle Box away the Calamity Cat. Draw. Terminal Impact. No mana for it, but I think we just run out the Forest. End step Reaper trigger. Primal Fisher, Urban Jungle, Dawnsworn Survivor. We will pay the green to get back Urban Jungle and let these go to bin. And we've got Terminal Impact for 7, 8, 9 over the top. Because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Calamity Cat untap. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. 7. So we got Terminal Impact for 8 over the top here. So they need to clear both Phoenixes and everything else. Pact Beyond Death's not going to cut it. Spiky Downlink Overload. They kept Downlink Overload in. Interesting. So they can downlink the Spirit Realm Phoenix here. But it's just not going to cut it. Culling Ritual is just a little too slow. They are dead on board currently. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And an Anomaly overclocks that damage by a good margin because we've got 5 creatures that could wear counters, and these also shoot the opponent for 1 when we put counters on them. Opponent says 1 mana short, GG's. And we got there. Through having to play really slowly game 1 to playing really fast game 2. Revivified Wrath and Jack as the remaining 2 cards in hand. Yeah. Alrighty. We have gone up a match through a pretty tight match there. Very interesting set of games between having to play things profoundly slowly and almost more like a creature-based control deck in game 1, and then pivoting to just a really rough game 2 where we get blown out by Culling Ritual in the sideboard. And then game 3, we get to play around the Culling Ritual a little bit thanks to card I really should be rating higher because it is probably one of our best hits off a foreign encounter. Not probably, it is one of our best hits off a foreign encounter, and the nerf just doesn't do enough to make it underwhelming, especially when Reaper of Blossoms already incentivizes us to have mana up at our end step. There's just so much to love about Spirit Realm Phoenix right now. So that is going to be it for round 2. We are going to have a round 3 to look forward to. For all my apprehensions about where this deck is right now, there is still a lot to love here. So we'll see how things shake up in round 3, what matchup we might be running into. And in the meantime, if you are interested in giving Revolution a try for yourself, be sure to check out everything in the description below for your links to all of the resources you might need from the Revolution Compendium, which is a curated list of cards from the format for consideration in deck building, as well as the card search engines between the LackeyBot search engine and the Escape from Limbo Egg Hub search engine. Both function very similarly to Scryfall. There is also a link to the Custom Magic Discord where you can follow along with set projects as they're being built and tune into the Custom Magic channels for the Revolution Custom Standard format, where you can talk about the format, play league matches, follow along with what competitive matches are going on, and try the format out for yourself. So with all that being said, I'm looking forward to round 3. We'll see how it all pans out. And in the meantime, I'll see you all in the Revolution chat. Bye-bye.